So today we are reviewing Terminator Genisys, which is the 5th film in the Terminator franchise, and was supposed to be a brand new Terminator trilogy. This being the first one of that trilogy.
Right.
So.
Going into this movie, I gave this movie every benefit of the doubt. I love Terminator movies. The first one, the second one are great, milestone movies. And then third one and the fourth one started suffering a little bit. Again, trying to give this the benefit of the doubt, but as you can tell by looking at any internet page ever, it was kind of a disaster. So we'll start, speaking of disasters, with the plot. John Connor sends Kyle Reese back in time to protect Sarah Connor, but when he arrives in 1984 this time, Sarah Connor is expecting him. And some shit goes down from there.
So as we're saying, the plot was totally just a disaster. I mean, they tried to incorporate from the first Terminator and the second Terminator, basically like the best of hits. So like, let's rewrite some of the history and incorporate these moments from the first two films, and now let's create a new timeline and like take off from where that, so we can just make our own new trilogy, which they're trying to do.
Yeah, while you're mentioning that, I mean, the timeline's extremely, extremely hard to follow. I really tried staying with this for like the first 10 or 15 minutes of the movie. Seemed pretty easy to follow. The machines were sending, a Terminator into the past to take out Sarah Connor. And then all these Nexus timelines started happening. I gave up.
Yeah, it was just a mess. So, talking about casting for this film, I mean, what a wasted opportunity for this franchise. Like, you're trying to reinvigorate it and make it something special, and what do? You cast Jai Courtney as Kyle Reese. You want him to be your leading man. He has almost no emotion. I mean, I would have mistaken him for a Terminator. That's how it comes off.
He was just sort of meh.
I was excited to see Emilia Clarke be Sarah Connor, because I love her in Game of Thrones. She's awesome. She's such a good actress in that. In this movie, she is so miscast. It's not even funny.
Let's get into that. I, for the first half hour of this movie, thought that she was a prepubescent gymnast. I'm not sure what was going on with that. It was the weirdest thing in the world. Linda Hamilton was the best Sarah Connor, and they needed to try and recreate that, and she looked like her. But that was about where it ended, as far as I was concerned.
Because the chemistry between Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese, it just was.
Well, the fact that she seems so young in this movie definitely didn't help it for me. I knew that they were supposed to be together, but I couldn't believe it. I don't know. It was like almost creepy in a sense to me, because he seems so big and she seems so diminutive in
especially
comparison.
Like if you watch the trailers, I'm talking about like the twist in it, and then like he's there interacting with them. It's just like,
their interactions with each other. I thought for a while, I sort of wondered if maybe they filmed their scenes separately in different rooms.
Because they're like so jarred.
Their knowledge of each other being around them just, I don't know, it was just the whole thing was weird. And then they kept like foreshadowing the eventuality that they're going to have John Connor as their kid. And I don't know, just the whole time it was just like, well, you guys, you know what's going to happen next.
Might as well get it going. Like, yeah.
And then J.K. Simmons, I mean,
wasted.
One of the best actors
just
we
won
have
an Oscar, and they put him in there as like a plot pusher. He literally has nothing to do. He's great. Does great with his acting. But he's just in there to film.
He's in there for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even sure why his character was necessary to the story, other than to prove that somebody on this cast did have a capability of acting in the scene.
And then they casted Matt Smith, and if you were excited to see him, all you Doctor Who fans, he's literally in it for about 4 minutes. So now talk about the action in this movie, which all of us really go for, is to see the sci-fi action elements in the scenes. Let me tell you, there's nothing that you will remember in this film in a few days, because you think of the first Terminator, you have that awesome showdown in the final act. In the second Terminator, you have that awesome chase scene. There's all these milestone action sequences that happen in these films. And this film, you've seen all the action scenes in the trailers. Keep that in mind, because they just spoiled the whole entire movie in the trailers. It's just, some of it's just laughable, like that bus sequence. It's just like, I'm watching it and I'm like, this is so ridiculous and looks horrible. And nothing about it is just memorable.
I take a little bit of a different stance with you. there was some good parts in it. I enjoyed that they tried to bring some of the action sequences from the first Terminator and then the second one, the Judgment Day. I mean, with the T-2000 coming in, it seemed like they were trying to, give Kratos to those, and I appreciated that, but I dislike strongly the part where they did the CGI on Arnold Schwarzenegger in 1984. I mean, it was just weird looking. It seemed like
it
they
looked
had
like
animators that could have done a better job of it. I don't know. Maybe just after seeing Jurassic World a couple weeks ago, I'm a little spoiled on the CGI, but...
Yeah, I don't know where the part of the budget they did not spend on that part, because maybe this was all going to Arnold Schwarzenegger's paycheck or something, because they really could have used some help on the CGI, because some of it looked pretty crappy.
I've been waiting for you.
Today, I just felt like terrible casting choices, horrible acting and dialogue, lousy action sequences. I just thought it was like one of the worst movies I've seen this year. I give it a 2 out of 10.
I'm not going to be as hard on it. Like I said before, I like the Terminator movies. I like the mythology that was with it, even if it was a little bit muddled. I give it a 4 out of 10. It was nice to see Arnold in the role one more time, but hopefully this is going to be his last.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how this is going to lead into 2 more films. I mean, if this disappoints at the box office, which I have a feeling it might with the competition it's facing, and if it loses to Magic Mike, this might be the end for Terminator. Alright guys, well that's it from us. This is The Real Report with Ryan and Ryan. Stay tuned for the latest news and reviews, and catch you next time.